folks? Welcome back to the Logic Speak podcast. I'm your host, Adam Bieber. This is Jason Etheridge, and we are back with another episode. Jason, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I've been excited about this for a good little hot minute.
Yeah, me too. Well, I'm excited because you and I are going to debrief today. An experience that you and I just got to have. We're going to let some people kind of peek a little bit behind the curtain of how things work at Logic Speak. And the big thing that you and I got to experience was our most recent leadership team retreat.
Yep.
What's your, just first thoughts that come to mind as I mention our leadership retreat?
Lots of good times. We went to Blue Ridge, Georgia.
Yeah, we did.
Cat stayed at a cabin there. Our business coach joined us as a facilitator. Had what I would consider to be one of my top restaurant meals in a good long while.
Yeah.
One of my favorite places.
What's so awesome is, so I'm new to the leadership team, and so getting to come on this experience, spend extended amount of time with your coach, but who facilitated the meetings for us, and really dive deep into who we are as a team, which then trickles down into our organization. Talk about challenges and cast vision for the future, and then design the path forward.
Yeah.
Really get practical.
One of my favorite things about this meeting in particular was the amount of investment that we made in the beginnings of a new team.
Yeah.
Right. You don't always get that opportunity. It can be a little bit of a luxury, kind of like you have to work on the car while you're driving down the road.
Sure.
But we were able to stop and onboard well, I think, to set us up for success, hopefully for years to come.
Yeah. Yeah. It was awesome. It was remarkable. The thing I want to share with our listeners and on the podcast is there's structure that lies underneath what we did, and we'll kind of hit some of the highlights. But I do want to ask you about, so we followed some EOS structure. And I want to talk to you a little bit about EOS and why you and Ashley decided for Logic Speak years ago this was the operating system, how we were going to operate as a business and hold leadership meetings and strategize for our company. So why EOS?
So years ago, this is a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. My wife, I believe, was between the two of us was the first to read the book Traction, a book by Gino Wickman.
Yep.
And one of the really interesting things about Traction as a business book, it's a little bit different in that Gino, I'm not saying he doesn't bring any unique ideas, but he does refer to a lot of the business books, a lot of the leadership books that we've all read, Good to Great, Entrepreneurial Myth, or E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber.
Yep.
And he takes a lot of these concepts and creates what he calls EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System, so a management operating system for how you run your business. And the book Traction really identifies these facets or these parts of EOS that help a business to accomplish results more predictably, to have a 90-day worldview that humans really kind of operate quarter to quarter in our ability to hold a task to be done.
Sure.
And essentially, to help companies accomplish results more linearly as opposed to the zigzag approach that we had done so much before. And so after I read the book, as I do with a lot of my ideas, I got Ashley, our COO, and she wasn't CEO at the time.
Yeah.
But I got her to read it, and we started to talk about: are we really going to do this? Will this help us solve some of the problems that we had in the past?
Yeah.
Yep. So
That's
we made
awesome.
the decision, and
What's neat is, one of the things you guys did with me in my onboarding was read the book, What the Heck is EOS?
Yep.
So I would have an understanding of it. And I had met people that talked about it. And honestly, I had a hard time with what exactly is it? Are you telling me you've got like a CD-ROM and a software that I'm going to run?
Right.
Or is this an application? Is there some type of technology component? And really it's more a methodology.
Right.
There's technologies that support it, but it's truly a methodology of how are we going to operate as a leadership team and how are we going to operate as a business to be as efficient and effective as possible.
Right. It's really a top-down approach to how to manage your business well. And what I say all the time when I'm talking to people about EOS that are not familiar with it is that EOS is not perfect. There is no such thing. But a way of running your business beats no structure. Structure beats no structure.
Yeah.
And and so there are other System and Soul is another one here locally in Atlanta. But it has created order out of chaos.
Yep.
In terms of how we run our company.
I love the visual of a bullseye. And Dr. Tim Elmore one time, I don't even know if he's put this in a book, but he said not having a goal or a vision or a structure is like throwing an axe up against the wall and then going up to the wall where the axe hit and then drawing the bullseye around the axe. He's like, you have to.
That's so good.
You have to have a bullseye so you know what you're throwing to.
Yep.
And so that's what EOS has done for our company. Is it sounds like you're saying it gave us a bullseye, which is the structure we needed.
Yep.
So that we could achieve predictable results and repeatable processes.
Not to use another metaphor here, but it really is kind of the principle of the path.
Yes.
That you and I have talked about before, and we talked about this week as well. That direction, not intention, determines destination.
Yep.
And so
good.
If you don't have that destination, if you are not headed in the direction that you want, you will not accomplish your goals. And so EOS gives you, 90-day, year, 3-year, 10-year directionality.
Yep. Quote Andy Stanley.
There you go.
Yeah. So I do want to kind of talk about some of the components, but then I also would love just some of your feedback on this leadership retreat. So just to provide more clarity and context, you said we went to Blue Ridge, we stayed in a cabin. It was about 2.5 days. So and it's overnight, and so you're really pulling yourself out of the minutia and the everything going on in the business to focus on working on the business. And it's hard to do that, but it's so incredibly impactful and rewarding. I think we accomplished more in 2 days across 4 to 5 meetings. I mean, big, chunky, hours-long meetings than we probably could have accomplished in a quarter of trying to get together as a lead team.
Well, I think there is oftentimes as busy people, we try to fit things into holes, right? And so one of the concepts of EOS is that when you do your quarterly meetings as a leadership team or when you do your annual meeting, that you need to be offsite.
Yep.
Because if you don't, people will interrupt you. You will have to fall back into working in your business. But being in a cabin where, we agree together, we're not going to be looking at email. We're not going to be answering our phone call. Do not disturb. It gives you a lot of dedicated time. And one of the things that we've learned is that it takes a while to get into that mindset.
Yeah.
Right. From the all the different things that are going on in life, to be able to settle in as we do, and then to start to think strategically. And it's invaluable. Whatever the cost, it's always worth it.
Totally worth it. Yeah, I would agree. So EOS has 6 key components. We really don't have time on this podcast to dive into all of them and how they apply.
Save it for a future.
Yeah, maybe a future. Well, and we've talked about before, Ashley May, our COO who works with us, she and Jacqueline Jensen, an EOS implementer, have teamed up together to start a regional group called NRG, Energy. And they meet, I think, monthly. I think she actually had one this morning when we were recording.
That's right.
And they talk about different principles of EOS and why they do things that they do and help give other business owners and other business leaders some ideas and maybe some vision and some opportunities. And it's actually a free group. So if you're listening to this in the Atlanta area and you're interested, let us know. We'll connect you with them. And at some point, I'd love for them to come on so that they can have a dialogue about the impact of that and why they care so much about that group.
Yep.
But let's talk a little bit about vision.
Sure.
So you already mentioned you set quarterly, yearly, 3-year, and 10-year goals for the business. And so you and Ashley, I mentioned this on the retreat. Before I joined the leadership team, you guys have done a good job at explaining some of that vision to us as a company so that we know what your bullseye is. Now that I am a part of it, and we actually even made some tweaks and changes to our 3-year vision, improvements, like really cool, exciting tweaks and changes. It was cool to be able to contribute to that.
Yep.
So before you implemented EOS, what was was there a vision? Was there a multi-year vision for Logic Speak, and how has that discipline of creating a vision and having that documented and aligning to?
Well, I think that's really one of the strengths of EOS is not, it doesn't tell you what your vision should be. right? It doesn't give you the answers, but what it does is force you to have those answers.
Sure.
So, before EOS, and honestly, we kind of dovetailed Complete Vision Framework, Jim Collins' Complete Vision Framework with our business coach.
Yep.
That really kind of led right into EOS. Before that, it was foggy. It was cloudy.
Yeah.
I knew generally, right, where I wanted, where I wanted
We
the
want to
company.
grow.
Yeah, that's right. We want to grow, be successful, sell the business at some point down the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that type of foggy vision isn't enough to motivate or to rally people around.
Sure.
Really, the point of creating or casting this vision from an EOS perspective is that then you can get excited about it. You can teach it to your employees. You can hire to this vision, and if it doesn't get the employees that you're hiring worked up and excited, they might not be the right employees. So it really is the first step in terms of kind of your EOS journey, is that it walks you through making sure that you have that vision, that it's laid out, that it is practical, that it can be attained, right? Like all the good things.
What's really cool about it is if you have a 3-year vision, then you can go, okay. And right now we're actually ending the first year of that 3-year vision that you guys carved out a year ago. And so we're going, okay, we got 2 years left of this 3-year vision. What has to happen in 2026 to set us up for success in 2027 so that by the end of 2027, we're accomplishing that vision?
Isn't it, as a sidebar, isn't it such a neat is such a weird word, but isn't it a really cool process that we did at our leadership where here's our 3-year, what has to be true at a year for us to still be on the path for that 3 years? And then what has to be true this quarter for us to hit that year? So it's a very logical, well-organized way to make order out of chaos, and where it might be like, I have no idea what we need to be, how do we get to our 10-year? I have no idea. But using this methodology, you just start working backwards from the end. That's right.
And you create the processes that will get there, and you use historical data, you use history, you use projections and vision. But what I found was so cool is, so we did this exercise. We look at, we're 1 year into the 3-year vision. We got 2 years left. What needs to be true at the end of 2026? We took time individually to write our lists of what needs to be true. And the number of things that across the team of 5 of us that we all said the exact same thing, or we were within, when it comes to like revenue and, different profit margins and percentages and things, we might've been off by a couple percent or a couple, but like we were pretty dang close.
We were within a band, and then there was room for conversation and not negotiation in terms of like, well, I think, but kind of getting to a shared number, getting to a number we could all believe in and that we felt was attainable.
And we did that relatively quick. Like we went through the 1 year, and so then it was interesting because based on the 1 year, then we've got, okay, what are all the things that need to get done? And then what has to get done this quarter? And that's where it created even more conversation, because you and I had a vision for one thing, and maybe some others had a vision for another. Like, no, that's not quite a Q1 priority. That might be a Q2 priority.
Right.
Those types of conversations are really the galvanizing of coming to an understanding together, deciding together, hearing each other out, being able to advocate using radical candor, which we've talked about, so that we can arrive at a shared vision for what are our rocks for Q1. So that was just fantastic. I feel like we could talk about vision the rest of the time. Let's talk a little bit about, and we talked about this some on the retreat too, is people. We've grown as an organization. We have several new employees. EOS has this, and I didn't even know it was an EOS thing, but they use this phrase, right people, right seats.
Right, RPRS.
It's funny because it was on the template, and me being new to the leadership team, I was like, hey, what does RPRS mean? And it was like, oh, right people, right seats. I'm like, well, I've heard that before. That seems logical and smart.
And just to dive tiny bit, right seats means right seat on the bus. Right. Not only are you on the right bus, right? And the metaphor is the bus is the company, right? Are you on the right bus, and are you in the right seat? And the combination can be, it could be that I'm on the right bus. I am right for the company. I exhibit our core values. I love this company. I just might be out of my core competency. I might be in the wrong seat, and I just need to move seats. And get a different job, or laterally move, or take on some additional opportunity. Or it could be I'm on the wrong bus.
I don't remember who it was that said it, but somebody said the right person in the wrong seat can feel like the wrong person.
That's right.
And that's a tough reality.
So good. That's so good.
I've been that. Like, I've felt like in the past that I've been that person. Like, oh, I love this organization. I love this team. I love what we're doing. But I don't think I'm in the right role.
Yep.
And I want to be here because I love the team and organization, but I'm also struggling to achieve and perform because this is just a tough role for me.
Right. Right.
And so,
and I would imagine that you would agree that can cause people to leave companies.
Oh yeah,
when that wasn't necessary. That you lose someone that was right for your company because they just are in the wrong role, fish out of water.
Yeah, yeah. And so what I love about it is it encourages us to think through the team dynamics, the inner workings of skill sets and EQ and some of the things we've already talked about, and actually try our best to help people get into the right seat. So even if they enter their organization in a different seat, we're willing to laterally move people to make sure that people are able to meet their highest potential and feel fulfilled in what they're doing, and that they can achieve and they can have success in their role. And that's a huge responsibility as a leader.
And it goes right back to our mission, right? We are here as a company to have a positive impact on our employees.
Yep.
Which is built into this framework.
Yeah. Yeah.
So much more we could say.
Yeah. What's cool is what's built into our design of how we invest in people is the LDP program that you and Ashley developed.
Right.
That I'm in the process of concluding. I think we have 2 more meetings. We have one in December, and then
our capstone.
In January. And so to go through a 12-month program of being invested in is such a great way to take care of the people and to have that positive impact, to live our mission. We've talked about it. It takes away from the day. Like, we do it during the workday, knowing that we're investing in the people. Y'all are investing in me right now. Hopefully in the future, I can help invest in other team members to do that. But it is a sacrifice that we know we're willing to make, because just going back to like what you said, the cost is worth it.
Yep.
It's worth it for the outcome that you get when you have people on your team that are more inwardly sound and others focused.
Oh, I love it.
Mic drop. So I want to talk about real quick, maybe for the last couple of minutes, this concept of IDS.
Ooh.
And so issues any company is going to have problems to solve. Yep. And I was having a conversation with my dad last night, and he was saying, that being part of the leadership team means you are going to just solve problems. Now, you're going to solve client problems, you're going to solve personnel problems, you're going to solve technology problems, you're going to solve, and that's not a bad thing. That is literally part of your role now, is to help solve problems. And what's awesome is EOS has a process for helping you solve problems, so you don't get bogged down or experience a paralyzing feeling of, what do we solve? How do we organize this?
And I think we've all experienced meetings before where there wasn't enough structure, and somebody will talk about a problem, but it's not a well-defined problem, and then somebody else has a solution right out the gate. Well, this is what we should do. Well, and then okay, but maybe we need to talk about it a little bit more, or maybe we're solving a problem that's not the root problem. So we solve a symptom of the problem, thinking that we've solved the problem. I mean, I'm certain that a lot of our listeners and viewers have been in these kinds of meetings, because human beings. And so the really beautiful thing about the IDS process is that it brings process to how you solve problems.
Yep.
Not to stifle innovation and solutions, but to actually facilitate getting to the right answer more efficiently. Yeah. And so just to expand IDS, because we got all these acronyms from EOS, right? Yeah. Identify, discuss, solve. IDS is that's the 3 steps in order to solve a problem. And so would you like for me to talk through?
Yeah, please.
So the first is identify, and that's really how we get to the root of the problem. So whoever is going to bring this issue to the team, they have to give a ideally 1-sentence description of what the problem is. And then we can ask, as a team, clarifying questions to help get to the root of the issue. Yep. That may take a few minutes, right? Yeah. Because we're used to those surface problems, those manifestations, if you will. Yep. once we all agree that we've left nothing out, and we understand here is the root of the issue, here's the root level problem.
Yep.
Then before we solve, everyone gets to weigh in on the discussion. We don't jump right to solutions because, again, that shuts people down. We discuss. Everyone gets a voice. Everyone gets to talk about their angle, or we've talked about the elephant, right? Like their view of the elephant.
Yep. Their perspective.
So that we've heard everyone, so that everyone is well represented and nobody feels either left out or that they've been talked over or that they never got an opportunity. Only then can you start to offer suggestions on solutions.
Yep.
And so then the whole group then talks through the solve or the solution part. That's the S.
What I thought was so cool is you and Ashley took it a step further and figured out a system for how you would rate your personal conviction or passion around a particular issue. And it's just rating it on a scale of 1 to 10. And so you guys taught that to us, that in moments like that, when somebody's super, super passionate about something, and maybe you come in with equal passion, there is the potential that it could get emotional, it could get heated, it could get elevated. And so to have the respect, going back to our core values, we lean in, we care for you. Those are two big ones that you have to come to the table with this conversation.
Yep.
Hearing each other out. There were times where I was like, I'm just going to wait. Like, let them finish. Like, because I'm excited and I'm passionate and I want to help and I want to discuss and I want to share my perspective. But also, there have been many moments where you come into something and you're a 10 and Ashley's like, hey, that's a 2 for me. I'm good with how. Right. Let's talk about
it. In fairness,
let's discuss it.
We did steal this from another podcast.
Oh, okay, cool.
We did not invent it. Yep, absolutely.
I was going to say that one's free. But
yeah, that's right. But
still
from someone, it is free from someone else. We got it for free as well. But the idea is that if I just come to you and ask your opinion, you're going to tell me your opinion.
Yeah.
But that doesn't tell me how important it is to you.
Sure.
And so when you bring your opinion and when we're IDSing and we're talking through issues, if we can both talk about feedback and give opinions and weigh in, but also what the level of importance is, and the kind of the, like you said, it's a 1 through 10, right? Or I guess it could be 0, but let's say 1 through 10, and the higher degree of importance, then we should lean toward that contingent, that group, that person, that whatever. And if it's a 2 in that wording, if it's a 2 for me, I'll give you my opinion, but whatever you guys do is fine.
Yep.
Right. And so that's been so applicable in my personal life. My wife and I use that, probably not as much as we should, because you forget. But, that can really avoid or ward off arguments and disagreements. And, like there'll be times when she's asking me like, hey, do you care about the rug in the den or should I just pick one? And I'm like, hey, it's a 2 for me. So she goes and picks a rug. She's completely happy. I didn't really care, so I'm happy.
It. Yeah.
Right? And we're all good.
I love it.
Yeah. So
it's such a great way to show respect for each other and to understand where somebody's coming from and how they're showing up.
Right.
If something's a 10 for me and you don't tell me that it's a 2 for you and you act like you don't care,
you're going to assume, right, exactly.
I'm going to be, there's the potential I could be offended. Like, dude, like this means so much to me.
Yep.
And so to be able to say, hey, preemptively, just so you know, this is a 10 or a 9.
Yep.
Where are you at with this?
Yeah.
It's just great. That's just
really,
a
helpful.
Sweet tip for problem solving and IDSing. And there's so much more that we could say. What I do want to say is we will try to bring more EOS resources onto the podcast, including Jacqueline and Ashley to talk.
I think we got through 3 of the 6 foundational.
I know. But what the other thing I'll say is EOS implementers, I know for a fact, Jacqueline, like she will do a complimentary 90, which is just a 90-minute meeting facilitating some of the structure of EOS. And if that is even applicable or interesting to you, reach out and let us know, because I can personally connect some of those dots. And then finally, the last thing I want to say is thank you so much for the opportunity to be on the leadership team. Like it's truly an honor. It's a responsibility and a weight that I'm honored to carry along with you and push the ball forward for us.
I'm so excited after that meeting, our 2.5 days together. I was telling Andre, who's also a new member of our leadership team, how encouraged I was, and that I couldn't have planned it any better. That it really was. We talked about some heavy things. We talked about some weighty things. That's the point.
Yep.
But we all did it in a way that we left, I think, feeling better about where we are, better about our team, better about our company. And we made some real progress.
More excited for the future. Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Well, guys, thanks for listening. Please subscribe to the podcast, share it with somebody, and we're going to be back with our final episode of the year.
Oh, unbelievable.
Unbelievable that we're already wrapping up season 1 of the Logic Speak podcast, but looking forward to talking to you on that episode. Again, thank you guys for listening. Jason, thank you.
Thank you.